Hey everybody, Aaron Trevino here on our real estate and construction channel. And today, for the second time, we have a repeat guest. We have Brandon Schwab. I really enjoyed our conversation last time. For me, it was a big eye opener. So, it's great to reconnect. And nearly a year and a half later, I can't believe it's been so long. Brandon, how you doing?
Hey man, things are awesome. Hey, in fact, I just pulled it up. It was 2 years ago. It was 2 years ago that we were able to drop the first one. Time flies when you are having fun, huh?
I guess so, right? I guess I know I'd mentioned it a little bit before the call with you, but I try to keep up with you when I can on social media.
Yeah,
And I'm glad we're able to reconnect because it seems like obviously a lot has changed in the economy, in the financial
yeah,
market, and it also sounds like a lot's changed on your real estate side as well. So it's great to sit down with you.
yeah, man, for sure. Thank you. It has been fun following you and all the things you're able to offer as well, man. So I love that. Thank you for the opportunity here to talk
Yeah,
on here twice.
Yeah, absolutely. I know last time we talked a bit about senior living and
Yeah.
sort of the healthcare side. I thought that was a really interesting show. Are you still actively working in that space, or what
Yeah.
types of deals are you gravitating towards these days?
Senior living hasn't changed. I mean, if you look at the industry, it's an older fashioned industry. It's maybe not as appealing as some of the other like assets that are out there today that have people are talking on getting into things like that. But it hasn't changed. I mean, if you look at the facts of the world, I just had read an article that was able to say that we are 775,000 units under where we need to be to keep up with 2030 folks that are coming. And our country's getting older. And the question is, how are we going to handle it? Right. And um, since I talked to you 2 years ago, I mean, we've been busy. Where we probably pivoted more away from buying like larger 5 to 10,000 foot houses that are empty. And we're probably buying more portfolios of existing properties that have cash flow today. So, like, we're finding some of the owners that are needing to sell, they need to sell for their own reasons, but a lot of time they either are going to have some health challenges or when they have to sell, they have to sell when they are going to have issues with health. And we are finding that that's an easier opportunity for us and our investors to have cash flow almost from the first day that we are able to actually, where on the flip side of it, Aaron, we're doing it where it took us a year and a half to really get it fully cash flowing. And what we find now is doing it how we're doing now is faster because it gets cash flowing quicker. And our investors really seem to be a fan of that, which is great.
And you say it's faster because you're buying it in a bundle, like, or I guess, more than one at a time, or how is it faster?
It's faster because we're buying properties that are up and operational today. They can be called whatever they are called today. And what we're basically doing is we're pivoting what it's called, and we're operating under our company. And with one company name and image, it allows us to kind of pull on our about 10 years of experience. I opened up our first house in 2014. So we are using that experience to we're buying properties from Flintstone era type people that really don't use technology. They don't get AI or technology. And it's really nice because we are creating opportunities by adding so AI and tech into businesses that may be more pencil and paper, right? Which we actually just bought a business from a person that did not have their own like email, which I was like, how do you function in this world without an email? And we had to print a physical contract, and we had to get it to them at their like home, which I thought was very interesting.
Yeah, I guess you would think that's a bygone era. You don't see that anymore.
You would think that, and we have actually found that it's like multiple times from folks that we are purchasing from. So they're harder to target, right? They aren't on Facebook or all the different channels. They're just not there. But we found a deal pipeline that we are really excited on by using AI, by using tech. We have been able to find them, and we're contact them in more of an older fashioned type of a like way to like reach them, which is great.
Absolutely. It seems like at least here in Houston, it seems like a lot of people will poke fun at two industries, either oil and gas or real estate, for historically being the most antiquated. And it seems like, over the past 10 years or so, they've really ramped up a lot of the technology.
Yeah.
I'm curious with AI, how exactly does AI fit into your business model? Is it more of the initial contact that you make with someone you're looking to do a deal with, or where exactly does AI fit if you're working in real estate?
Yeah, so that's a good question. It helps us be more efficient, right? And it helps us be efficient because there's tasks that we do every day that need to be done, and we're using AI to go get them done, right? Or we are doing tasks that used to take us 2, 3, 4, 5 hours, and by the use of using AI, we're getting it done in 5 minutes, right? So it gives us back so much more time, and we can get like more done with fewer people. And that's really been a huge game changer for us, right? We are still working on having all of our inbound calls answered by AI, and we're also working on doing outbound calls as well. So we are um, we've got a good a way to use it where we can be like more efficient overall and keep our overhead costs down. We have been able to grow our company by 50% without doubling our costs to actually do all of that, right? So our cost for overhead didn't go up by 50% either. We kept that down to 10 to 15% increase without doubling the so overall costs as well, which is great.
Yeah, that's fascinating. I know that some people would be curious about, where exactly does AI fit in this entire real estate equation? And, it's not exactly human. It kind of takes away from the personable human side of it. But yet, if it can save me 5 hours of time, maybe I could be open to it, right?
Well, you have to think of it this way. When a person calls you, and if one of our team members doesn't answer because they are talking to other people, that person's going to just keep going down a phone list and they're going to keep calling until they talk to somebody, right? And we've invested into some AI here that isn't maybe as good as a human, but it's really hard to tell the difference. And what we're doing is we are having a higher rate to convert because we're answering every phone call, right? Back before we were able to miss. I mean, we've got three people that generally answer our phone calls, and when they were all on phone calls, if anyone else called in, they didn't get picked up. And what we realized is that was a huge miss because on an annual basis, one person is about $72,000 per year, or over their 3.2 years that they're with us is over $220,000 value. You don't want to miss that call. So we are using AI to handle more capacity, both for phone calls, but then also it's really interesting. Some humans don't like doing outbound calls or things like that, right? Or calling up like leads from 2 years ago, right? So AI doesn't have any issue with it. They don't care. And we have identified the top 20 to 30 questions that people ask, and we put that in there. And what it does is it can qualify whether a person's a good fit or they aren't today or they are going to be in the future. And it puts them into a different category where our team just wasn't using the tracking tools that we offered them 5 years ago, right? Now, so AI is doing it automatically, and it's really exciting of what that's going to be in 5, 10 years. I think we can handle 20 to 30 homes without adding the type of overhead team that I thought I was going to have to. It's probably going to is going to be able to save us 4 or 500,000 per year.
That's
Just an
incredible.
overhead. Yeah, it is
Yeah.
great, and things are just getting going. I mean, once we really figure out how to do this, we're excited. I mean, we're going to be using most for like marketing purposes, right? Getting the phone to ring where we used to have people that had to like think through all that. Now we have team members that are asking good questions and taking the answers. And now we're a lot more, I would say a lot more consistent. And the team that I have can do, I don't know, 5 to 10 times what they used to be able to when they are using AI, which is great.
That's remarkable. I guess when I think of AI, I think of, iRobot, that kind of stuff. But it's so interesting hearing you say this because it adds a sense of practicality to it, right? If someone's a small
Yes,
business owner, hey, what's in it for me and my business as opposed to something else.
sure. Yeah, it's a incredible tool. I mean, where can you get any person to work for $20 each month that can do what this can do? And it's literally giving me back hundreds of hours for 20 bucks per month. No one's going to do that. But that's literally all we pay per person. Say I've got 5 people. I mean, I pay $100 per month, but it's the best investment we've been doing because it helps us get deals out faster, so ads out faster, and it's good. It's so good.
That's amazing. And are there any other maybe operational updates that you've incorporated aside from AI to your business?
Nothing nearly as big as that. I mean,
Wow.
we've been using one customer database. We've been building out so like automations and systems. Um, we literally have been talking about doing our own college for our company to teach people how we do it for literally 5 years. And because of AI, with videos and all of that, like editing, we just got this published that we wouldn't have it before, right? Back in February, we bought a property up in Wisconsin. And one of the things that I realized is our culture that we have in our company didn't transfer over like I would have expected it to. And what I realized is what we've been talking about for 5 years needed to happen, right? So now we have an online course basically where a new team member can go on and log in, learn what we're about, and they can really gain the company culture way faster because they know what company they are working for, right? And that makes such a big difference in the company culture. And the when we buy new companies, the team members that come with those are oftentimes awesome people, and those great people need to learn what we do and how we do it. And prior, we had to travel to all the houses, and it was a lot of overhead time and effort. And what we realized is we literally have this tool right in front of our hands, and it's been super helpful for us to be able to use that. So,
Absolutely. And I'm sure, it would wear you down a bit having to do the traveling and maybe giving a few different talks at these different times about different subjects and different businesses, right?
well, and when we are training people on 3 different, if they're on first shift, second shift, or third shift, you'll never get everybody there, right? So you are missing it because you are never going to get everybody there. So what we realize is let's just film them. And when a person, if they are on shift at that particular moment, they can go back in the evening and they are able to go through that. And what we find is now we have 100% of people. Plus, I can tell where they're at and where they kind of fell off, right? So it helps us really do what we've been wanting to do for 10 years. We just didn't have the tools at our hand. Now we do. So loving
What,
it.
out of curiosity, what kind of opened your eyes to, I guess, really the beauty of using videos, right? It's just such a powerful tool that really it seems like culturally we're just starting to tap into.
So I'm probably like everyone. When I get on videos, I never just like watch it afterwards because I'm always pretty hard so on myself of like, God, geez, that's terrible, right? But like what's beautiful is you can like capture what needs to be said, and you were able to use AI to like focus you in on really what needs to be there. And using video in courses basically came down because we saw what happened when we didn't have it, right? And we saw the troubles and the employees that didn't get our company culture. And we just said, hey, if we would have had something as a tool to train them up front that they could have gone through and heard our voice, our heart of really what we're doing, it would have made a huge difference. And it was really hard to say because we bought Go high level a couple of years ago, frankly, but I really didn't know how to use it. Like it's such a powerful tool that I really didn't know how it all really functioned and worked. But what I realized is when you need something and you look at, I've had that the whole time, it's right in front of me. And we began using it. And with the use of AI, we came up with really good tools, so like outlines as well of what we wanted to film, that it wasn't like we were just in front of a camera just kind of talking, right? You need a pretty good outline or else you can waste a lot of time while you're filming it, but then even more time on the other end. What was great is we printed out an outline of the top, 35, 50 topics that we wanted to cover, and we built a history within there so the answers knew us prior to answering. So it's not just going on there and asking it questions, but you actually need to take the time and build out your account so it knows who you are. It knows your heart, your purpose, and how you talk. And what we found is the answers we got was a lot better, right? We even brought a team member on that was kind of like an AI expert. And frankly, so I was a little bit tight on cash at the time. And so I was like, man, I don't know if I should do this. But looking back, it was a really good choice because it basically 10x what we could do with our existing team, and it increased our efficiency, which I don't know if there's anything else I could have done that would have compared to that level of efficiency that we were able to gain by adding a person to our team for $2,500 per month. It gave us back $20,000 or $30,000 compared to that 2,500. So I think he was thankful. We were thankful, and he built up 33 custom things just for us based on our top 15 to 20 problems that we would tackle every day. So when we are doing offers or term sheets or like writing ads targeting X people, like he built custom channels that answer those questions perfectly. And the impact was incredible. Our phone was ringing. We were tracking people better, which translated to a higher like ratio of us closing, right? From like 54% up to about 72%. But what it also reduced was our cost per lead. It went from, thousands and thousands of dollars to a couple $100. That's a big difference when you won't. So when you aren't a huge company, I mean, that's thousands of dollars per person adds up, right? Back before I was paying the first 30 days of a like new resident, right? 30 days times 6,500, that's a lot of money. And if you were able to get it down to $200 or $300, I mean, that's 4 or 5 grand. Yeah. It adds up. So that's one of the biggest things that I think allowed us to grow. Our total income was 180 grand per month, right? And now we're over at 400,000 with a goal of 5 to 600,000. That wasn't possible when I talked to you 2 years ago, right? We would have had to have an overhead team that was twice what I have today. Now we're working with a team of, 3 people in the office doing what I used to have. I don't know, 7, 8, 10 people with an overhead cost of twice what I'm currently paying. So for us to have more volume with half the overhead, I mean, I can't give any more credit to that than learning how to use AI, right? And I too didn't get it at first. I learned that I didn't know anything, and I learned a lot because I had to, right? I had to figure things out.
Hmm. That's incredible. And one thing you said was, I don't know if I caught that correctly, but you said something like having it know your heart. You're saying having the AI understand maybe your pain points of your business and how to fix them, or what is like what does that mean?
So when you use it, you can go into your personal settings, right? And it gives you the opportunity to kind of personalize it. So when you ask it questions, it always goes through that first. So you can tell it, hey, I want you to talk in this tone, right? I want you to be very passionate, right? Because we're dealing with families that they're going through guilt because their family member needs to go to a home and they can't take care of them. Like there is an internal, they are looking for peace. But if you don't focus on that and you talk on something else, so you tell it what you want it to focus on and how you want to focus on. And as you use it, it's like learns what your preferences are, and you can tell it to add it or to don't add that, right? You have to tell it to update its own like memory, right? Every week you have to go back through there and you have to just be positive that what's in there is really what you want it to have in there because the answers get finer and finer based on you using it, right? Which is wonderful.
Wow, that's incredible. It's kind of a weird dance between almost training a machine, but yet also letting it just kind of do its own thing.
Well, here, I kind of think that too. I'm a guy that I will thank it every time that I ask it. And folks are like, why are you thanking it? Right. Well, frankly, I'm a little bit concerned in the future. Maybe I watched a little too many uh, Terminator shows where like a little bit concerned that this isn't going to go well for all of us in the future. But I know it's a thing that's coming, whether I'm on it or not. The question is are we going to be part of it early and be part of the first 10% of companies that really know how to use it? Where in 5, 10, 20 years, we're in pretty good condition and where we're not just catching up, right? It's a thing that's going to be here. The question is, you just have to use it. Um, so I'm always thankful for what it does, and I tell it thank you, right? Because I want to make sure that it doesn't come after us first, right? So
I would probably have the same thing in my head as well, just, being a bit concerned at what could happen in the future.
yeah, but here you also can't do things different based on what could happen in the future. You have to live where you're at today with the info that you have in front of you today, and you have to choose what you do. I mean, if you and I think when they first came out with Facebook, right? It took Facebook 7 or 8 like months to get to their first like 1 million users. That's a long time, right? AI took them 5 days, right? And I wish I was in front of Facebook before it turned into what Facebook is today, right? And I don't want to duplicate that error again. I want to be forward thinking. I want to use, once our team really got that using AI only helps them do their job faster and easier, they loved it, right? At first, they're like, oh, AI is going to take your job. No, it's not because it can't do it on its own. It needs a human to like to focus on it and teach it, right? But it's certainly once you really get them dialed in, I mean, they can do a lot of it for you, which allows us humans to be more efficient at whatever task we're doing.
Hmm. Wow. It sounds like you're giving it a close to a 10 out of 10 rating, but is there anything that you wish that the AI could do or maybe could do a bit better?
Um, we invested in a couple AI platforms. So obviously we did the business level chat GTP, which I love it, right? And we've invested into Air.ai, right? Air.ai, even since I bought it, has improved drastically. It's growing and learning so quick that, like, frankly, I'm content with what it can do right now. Um, when they come out with ChatGPT 5, like, it's supposed to be 100 times better than 4.0. And that's pretty terrifying, actually. But like, we want to be capable of handling. I feel like us as humans need to catch up more than what can it do. We literally feel like we're using like 1% of it. Like, we aren't even using it to its full what it could do.
Mm.
So,
Wow. Oh my
so I
goodness.
feel like we need to get going on our side better than their side. I mean, it's cool. Yeah. It's like we're excited. I mean, we wouldn't be able to grow like we're growing if we didn't have that. Not a chance.
Sure
So
thing. And is it maybe dumb question here, but when I guess when they're making that initial when the AI is making the initial contact with I guess with your leader who you're looking to speak to, is it I don't know that does that voice sound like you or me, right? It does it sound like, hey, is this a robot or
yeah, hey, so the first one, the first version, if you go to air dot so AI today, chat or so like air.ai 1.0 wasn't that good. It was better than what I thought, but you could tell, right? They came out with chat or they came out with Air AI 2.0 and Aaron. I mean, you would have a hard time telling that it's not human, right? Now, we are still testing it. It's not 100% yet, right? But what we're testing it is our first contact with anybody is you have to answer the phone call. Have to, right? The next part is you have to ask questions to really qualify whether we're a good fit or they're a good fit for us, right? So the first questions are qualifying, 15, 20 questions, right? And those qualifying questions put them into different categories. And ChatGTP is great at that, right? They cannot do tours for you, right? They cannot take place of like a face-to-face interaction. But what we realized is we were letting dollars right out the back door because we weren't answering the phone call. Sounds really dumb, but like something as little as that probably costs us hundreds of thousands of dollars per year. Probably even like more if I want to be honest. And what I realized is the team that I had is great. They're wonderful, but they are humans and they can't work 24 hours per day. And they can't answer these calls every single day and be perfect every single time. And we're probably 80% there, right? When we get to 100% and it's answering all of our calls, we're really excited where it's going to allow our business to be more profitable and have a choice of residents that we choose rather than us maybe having to work a little harder on a fewer quantity of residents. And sometimes just answering a phone call is going to be half the battle because if you don't answer, they call somebody else. Even if you call them back in 5, 10 minutes, oftentimes it is too late.
Mm.
And if that customer has a lifetime value of 220, 230,000, that's a big problem, Aaron. Like that's a lot of dollars going out the window. So using AI for different challenges that you have in your business to be more efficient and help you compete with everyone else. I mean, we're a smaller company, right? We are not a huge giant corporations with endless pocketbooks, right? So in order for us to compete with them, we have to be quick. We have to be able to handle changes faster than they do, right? And we had to be efficient at every opportunity we can, or else we can't compete.
It all, that's so interesting you said. It almost seems like there's I guess seemingly an advantage that small business owners have now. They're able to almost in a way pivot more quickly in a way that a company with deeper pockets may not be able to.
Yeah. Um, I have our son, right? 17 years old, and he's kind of at the point of like college. What do I do next? And he's like, "What do you think, Dad?" And so I'm pushing him in a different direction than I was ever pushed because I'm like, Jeffrey, look at the world. I mean, if you can use Chat GTP to help a plumbing company, right? That's usually not that AI driven, increase their business, and you get to help them do that by using technology. Like, you need to look at that, son, right? Look at like how do you build out systems and a lot of kids that he goes to class with, they use it to cheat on their like homework, right? And while that's probably not okay, but like if you use it to cheat off the businesses that are using it properly and it helps you get what that business has, I'm a little bit okay with copying or to duplicate what has worked. Where when you tell them that they can pick anything, like they could pick fitness, right? They could pick whatever they're interested in, learn how to use AI and help us older folks that really don't get it. And you can make more money than you could ever learn from college doing something like that. I mean, um, it's exciting. And I look at what he's doing and it's like, man, that business is a lot easier than ours. Like we operate on a profit margin of, 15 to 35%. So like marketing is like an 80% profit margin business. And part of me is like, man, for every dollar you have coming in, if you're profiting 80%, like 80 cents, like you got it made, right? And it's it's a interesting perspective that I want folks like that working for us that know how to use that, right? And so I want him to be conscious of there are problems that are out there today that haven't been figured out yet, and whoever does is going to do really, really well.
That's amazing. It seems like we're really stepping it. I said the same thing back in 2020. We're stepping into this digital era, but I really think that something about 2024 is just vastly different with AI maturing a bit more. It just seems like we're in a new digital economy.
Things are certainly changing. I mean, we are in an old-fashioned industry and company. We care for seniors, right? But we're using tech to give us a huge edge over other companies that don't, right? And we can compete with everyone else, but like if we use AI in tech to do it, we can do it better, faster, and cheaper. Like and it allows it to be more profitable. I mean, like that's gives us a edge. I mean, we put our dollars into caring for people first, right? So we are by nature not as profitable as a company with 200 people that focuses on earning money. So we are by nature less efficient than them from the get go, that it forces us to be more efficient in other categories to get our profit margin up from 15% to 20 or 25 to 30. Really, our peak's about 35% from what we have seen thus far.
Hmm.
So that's our ideal target. And using this is going to help us do that. That's
That's
beautiful.
that's amazing. This is so eye-opening. Is there anything that you haven't said, Brandon, thus far you'd really just like to hit home for us?
I mean, I don't know. So the first time we talked about our company and caring for seniors, I mean, this is interesting that it's a different conversation this time. I mean, I wanted to add as much value as possible that any path that you would take this, I would go any path to help just give as much value to the folks that are able to hear this. So
Absolutely. And it's such an interesting time that we're talking about this right now because I think AI is, I've uh over the past few weeks for some reason AI has just really intrigued me a bit more and I'm kind of getting used to it, how it operates, and then this conversation as well. And it just seemed like years ago this was such seemingly far-fetched concept to the average American, but now there's almost a sense of practicality to it.
it, yeah, for sure. I mean, I think all folks in the country that have issues, or if they have tasks that they just really don't like doing that they have to do over and over. I mean, what does it hurt to just go on and ask, hey, come up with an answer to these problems, or give me a 30-day plan for so like advertising for my whatever company, plumbing, apartment buildings, whatever, and then just do what it tells you to do and then let it kind of operate. I mean, it's interesting. I think it's going to help a lot of people. I think people are going to have to learn. And I think the folks that are the early adopters are really going to give themselves a good advantage over others. But man, it's a good time to be open to tech today. So like I use it on my phone way more than I ever thought I ever like would have, because I don't like typing on my phone, right? I feel like we do that probably too often anyways. But if you go onto the app on your phone and you push one little button and you just talk to it and you ask it what you want, it will transpose all of that and you hit send. And I even had it where the answers, if you push another button, it will tell you what the answer is. So you don't even have to really focus on it. It's cool.
Yeah.
Like for $20 per month, where could you get value like that? You do have to use it though, right? If you are able to get it and don't use it, then don't get it. But those that use it, I feel are a they give you an edge over all the folks that don't, right? So it could definitely help you either find other opportunities, get extra deals, whatever you're doing. You just go in and ask it. I mean, go in and just play with it.
Yeah. That's amazing. That's so neat,
Yeah,
Brandon. I'm definitely gonna spend a little more time trying to learn the nuances of AI and how to use it properly.
yeah. Let me know, man. I will help you. It is like helped our company drastically, which is by nature maybe like an older fashioned type industry that's a little more pencil and paper. And if we can use it here and use tech to help us be more efficient, I mean, there's a lot of other avenues that I think could be really helpful for folks that are able to hear this, that maybe have been kind of fighting it, right? They don't think it's for them, and it's incredibly easy.
Absolutely, Brandon. This is I know I keep saying it, but this has been a really eye-opening conversation about AI. I knew that we talk about I'd assume that we talk about it a little bit, but this is really neat being able to go more in depth. So thank you for sitting down with us.
Yeah, man, for sure. Yeah, it's like hope it, that so it was able to help for sure.
Absolutely. We'll have your information in the description of the video. Y'all, thank you so much for listening to Brandon talking about the wonders of AI and how to use it for your business. So this is Aaron Trevino signing off, and we will talk to y'all next time.
All right, bud. Thank you.